the City of DeKalb's second ward, Stephen Clark and Bill Finucane. First up with the opening statement is Stephen Clark. Stephen.
Hello, my name is Stephen A. Clark. The sign actually is with a PH, so, but that's less important. I'm running for alderman in DeKalb's second ward. I came to DeKalb in 1989 in second grade, and other than going to college and working a couple of other jobs, I've pretty much been in DeKalb ever since. I graduated from DeKalb High School in the class of 1999, and despite my performance so far, I was actually on the speech team and took fourth place in state in extemporaneous speaking back in '99, so apparently I'm a little rusty. And maybe not as, we did practice with mics, but after that, I attended Northwestern for college, and then a couple years later, I went to NIU and graduated from the College of Law in 2008. I've been an attorney for 4 years, and I've worked for a number of firms around Northern Illinois, including having worked for DeKalb's own Cosentino law firm, which when I was there at least was the largest firm in town. In 2011, after doing some work in Chicago, I decided that I was going to open my own office and that I'd be able to provide people with low-cost representation in the areas of debt defense and primarily doing personal bankruptcy cases. I got involved more in city politics back in 2010 when I was named to the DeKalb Liquor Commission, and working on that commission from 2010 until its elimination earlier this year, I got to see a window of the city's regulations and how it operates in enforcing the laws. And I think that I will reserve the remainder of my comments for my conclusion to discuss a bit more about my platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Next up is Bill Finucane. Bill?
Thanks, Eric. Again, my name is Bill Finucane. I'm a candidate for alderman in the second ward. I'm a 33-year resident of River Drive, and although I grew up in Chicago, DeKalb has become my home. I have both a bachelor's degree and a master's in public administration from NIU. For the past 26 years, I've been the manager of transportation services for NIU, responsible for an annual budget of approximately $1.5 million. Since 1977, I've been involved in a variety of community service, beginning with coaching youth baseball before I had any children of my own. I've served on and or chaired a number of committees and boards and institutions and groups such as St. Mary's School, Kishwaukee-Kiwanis Children's Learning Center, the Voluntary Action Center, at NIU, at DeKalb High School, and also for the state of Illinois. Currently, I represent NIU on the Chamber of Commerce Board and the DeKalb Sycamore Area Transportation Study Board. I'm the Vice President of the Voluntary Action Board, and am currently, for the past 5 years, been the Chair of the City's Environmental Commission. I would describe myself as a fiscal conservative with many moderate viewpoints.
Thank you, Bill. Now we'll transition quickly to the closing statements. First up, Stephen Clark. Stephen?
To close, I really want to focus that I believe the city needs to focus itself on the core services that it provides: fire, police, street maintenance, water system, and particularly now with the proposal of a new library expansion on that. I'm really a believer that we need to promote having a fair government which treats its residents fairly, and we use our TIF funds fairly, helping out areas in the city that are really in need of assistance while not essentially giving away too much to projects which ultimately are not really that worthwhile. When I was on the Liquor Commission, I saw that part of the city code, and I think that we need to work on reforming other parts of the city code, just like the city council had enacted the new liquor code, which was considerably shorter and reduced the number of classifications of licenses. I believe this will reduce the amount of cost it takes to enforce for the city, and it will make it easier to do business in the city. And that's something we really need to work on. We need to make it possible to redevelop the city, essentially one storefront and one lot at a time, and make it easy for people to get into business, to make this place an even better place to live. We need to plan for long-term expenses that the city has. We need to make up for deferred maintenance, which has occurred during the last few years of budget cutbacks. And we need to plan in the long term for foreseeable expenses, like the expense it will take to expand the library. Now, 30 years ago, that was a 50-year-old building. So we can see that these expenses are coming along, and we need to plan for them in the long term. I think this race is about having a city council that is disciplined and focused on these core services. We need to focus on getting a good return on investment of what we're spending. And I would ask for people's vote on April 9th. People can visit my website and, of course, contact me in person if they want to talk more.
Thank you, Stephen. And now your closing statement, Bill Finucane.
Okay, among the issues I foresee coming to the city are infrastructure such as aging water and sewer systems, maintenance of the streets, and the repurposing of the current city hall and police station. The changing of the relationship between the city and NIU, with a new mayor, a new city manager, and a new incoming president in Northern. A lot of the familiarity in the relationship is bound to be transitive and tentative. How do we address the criminal activities in parts in the community? How can council help the police department and the citizens reduce this activity? Further residential development and annexation. An NIU study indicates there may be an oversupply already in some price ranges. And if growth is desired, what should the mix of owner-occupied versus rental dwelling units be set at? Sustainability. There are many environmental issues that will be coming forward. Impacts from global warming, conservation of resources, and reductions of the use of energy among them. Increasing the balance of the city's reserve fund while maintaining a balanced budget. Economic development will be necessary, and I would prefer to see some type of industrial development along with strengthening our locally owned businesses. Those are among the issues we'll be facing council over the next 4 years. With each of those general issues, many sub-issues will arise, and not the least, addressing a balanced budget with affordability for the citizens of DeKalb. Thank you for your time and attention, and thanks to the Chamber, the Daily Chronicle, and WLBK. And I do have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Bill Finucane for Alderman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.